everybody. What's happening? We got George Lynch in the house.
Hello.
Thank you again. I know you got a huge trip coming up to do some stuff because you're busy, let's say.
It's fun busy though. Going on a road trip is fun. It's always exciting. We're heading back east to see my one of my kids and my son-in-law and my new granddaughter, and also going to do some gear stuff, and I've got some gear swapping things I'm doing, so I'm delivering and picking up amps and guitars along the way. That's my fun part of it. And plus we get to go through, Arizona, New Mexico, which is my favorite part of the world, and camp out. We've got this kind of four-wheel drive solar backcountry rig that we can just live in for weeks if we needed to.
Thank you for, of course, joining us on this Jason Becker fundraiser.
The first one I was involved in was back in the 80s. There was Brad Gillis, Paul Gilbert. It was massive. I mean, I can't remember everybody that was involved. I think the first benefit that they had for Jason. I like to think that maybe some of the things that we're all doing in the guitar community for our brothers are helping him exist longer and be functional and productive.
It's crazy. He's like Stephen Hawkins of guitar, right? To be living that long with AOS, more than 30 years, that is just incredible.
Yeah, and continuing to make incredible music. And anytime you or I or any of the rest of us think we've got it hard, crying about little problems. I guess we really don't have any, do we?
So right now we have a bid for $150,000 for that guitar behind me. My insurance gone up at home, by the way, because it's getting expensive here.
You don't want to give people a reason to pop into your house and somebody's offering you $150,000 for that?
So the auction is going to be in June. 3 of these Jason Becker's guitar. We're already taking pre-market bid, so they can bid in advance, but it's 150 already. So it's going to start off at 150, I guess, when the auction starts.
How does this work? So people donate, they bid on guitars, but what else can they do?
Yes, they can donate outright. So they can donate during the live stream, or even when we're not doing the live show, they're going to donate when we start playing, I'm sure. We got another 2 weeks to carry on, and we have a lot of donated guitars from artists like Paul Stanley, Steve Vai, Joe Satriani, Mark Tremonti.
Well, let me know if you need any more guitars, and I can work on that too on my end.
Well, definitely. If you have any one that you think you'll never ever play, or
have you seen my stupid wall with way too many guitars than any one human being needs? Yeah, I think it's immoral. Accumulating wealth and anything else, it's just sort of a sickness. It's just like, I'm not sure why I have all these.
Look at me here. What's going on here? It's like Guitar Center here.
Yeah, it's like it's a contest or something, right? I don't know. I mean, I leaned a little bit towards the amps than the guitars. I just think amps are more critical. Like a great guitar, just an okay guitar through a great amp is going to be still pretty good. You know what I mean? Still, how many amps do you need? You get to the point where you become saturated and you become burdened with all the accumulation of what you've acquired. And then once you've accumulated, it doesn't matter, because it really wasn't about getting that thing. It was just about the quest. And then once you have it, you don't really care. And then you're like, okay, I'm going to get rid of everything. And then you start the cycle all over again.
For me, they like market research. They like different tool, right? I need to know what the tools out there do so I can make a perfect compromise of what I need. And in order for me to do that is have no endorsement. I feel like the endorsement is great, but sometimes they rather you don't play anything else, right? Other brands.
As far as like a vintage instrument isn't really a threat to an endorser. I mean, they're not making 58 Les Pauls or 62 Strats. You're not competing with that. I think that's probably okay. But to play a competitor's guitar, I get it. But then on the other hand, pretty much any guitar company can make any guitar for you. Right? I mean, there's no secrets out there. It's not like there's proprietary technology, I don't think.
I think it's a production level. If you're going to have a signature guitar, for example, right? There's always a limit, right, on the factory and stuff.
There's another facet to that argument. Maybe you can have too many option as far as what a guitar could be. I mean, I think back in the maybe later 60s when all these hallmark guitar players, icons were coming up, I don't think they had as many guitars as you or I. They just kind of had what they used and they made that work. They found a way to make that do what they were hearing in their head. Just having your telly and just doing it all without a whammy bar, without effects. It's just all in your head and your fingers and your heart.
How's the sound for you? Is it okay? You got enough distortion?
That's all right. I think we'll probably full disclosure here. I don't want to make excuses. A bad craftsman blames his tools, but normally, yeah, I'd be going through an amp here, but we're doing the software thing.
Yeah.
So it's kind of just a little thrown together. There was no way technically that I could figure out how to play through the amp and then still do this Zoom thing. There's a way to do it, obviously, but I couldn't figure it out. I want to be a part of it. It's an old dog learning new tricks. It's hard, it really is.
I gotta ask you, of course, I know you got your ESP line of signature guitars, but you also make some unique guitars with different kind of, looks and jobs on them, right?
This is what I was going to play, but it's not tuned to the track. It's my Kamikaze. Mm-hmm. But yeah, this is a Mr. Scary guitar here. It's got a stone tone block. There's a Carina wood, and it's got a Tremenic claw system. I do all this carving on top myself and firing and staining. And I bought all these single coil rails of ESP. Those were in my REH guitar. I upgrade all the bridge parts, stainless steel tie, floated. This is my design pickup that Rob over at Arcane builds for me. It's Mr. Scary Alnico 8 13.5.
Is it like just like a hobby that you started doing and ended up, people wanted to buy these guitars? How did that came about? You making your own guitars?
Well, I've been doing Mr. Scary guitars for about 8 years. I just built a new shop, which is pretty exciting. But to answer your question more specifically, I was at a point in my life where I had some medical issues. I had some back issues, which were pretty extreme, and I was in a wheelchair most of the time. And so I was restricted to what I could do. So I started ESP was nice enough to give me some guitars and bodies and necks to mess with, and I just started basically doing arts and crafts on them. And I had these dried bats, and I'd put them in the pickup cavities and all kinds of different sanding and distressed barnyard kind of paint, stuff like that. It wasn't anything functional. And then it started evolving to using my own necks and bodies, and I took a luthier class for a year. I'm not a luthier, but I'm heavily involved in the creation of all the instruments and the designs of them and so forth. And, when I was a kid and I had my guitars in my garage days and had no idea what I was doing, and learning the hard way how to destroy a guitar. I had a 1960 Les Paul Special I tried to turn into a fretless wonder with my dad's metal file, put the neck in a vise in my garage and destroyed it. But I learned a lot by making a lot of mistakes. And then, during the late 70s and early 80s, I taught locally. I taught out of the back of a little music store. And I also taught at Musonia, Randy Rhodes School, obviously. And then just to supplement my income. And also it was good for my playing because, when you're teaching, you're probably getting more benefit than the student. So what was happening was I would also end up making guitars for my students. Me and a friend would sort of did this weekend hobby thing where we would go out to Mighty Might. We'd go out to Charvel. I'd hang out with Grover. Charvel used to throw out these bodies if they put a ding in it or something. It was a little blemish or a second. They put it on a band song, cut it in half. And I was like, holy shit, dude. I don't care if it's got a little ding in it. I'll take it, Mm-hmm. And so I got a lot of bodies and necks like that, and then we'd slap them together, wire up the electronics, one pickup, and kind of set it up. I'd sell them for $350, $400. My friend Irv Veach we'd paint the guitars together, and we mask them off, and that's where we came up with the Tiger paint job. The first Tiger was green and black, called it the Booger. And that's the one I auditioned with Ozzy for, which is, I think, why Sharon didn't like me, because she thought my guitar looked like a booger. So I didn't get the gig, whatever. It's probably the guitar's fault. But anyways, and then we did the Yellow Tiger. Those guitars essentially cost me $50 to build. Uh-huh. Now with all the, as you said, there's a guitar right behind you. Somebody offered $150,000 for it. It's see what these things have evolved into price-wise. It's pretty insane.
Yeah, to talk to you, last time I saw you was in Anaheim something. We did a signing session, and we did, remember the guitar judging thing? Oh my God.
We were bad judges.
Yeah.
People hated us. We were committed to our decision.
That's right. And me and you said we are going to be honest with our opinion, because we can't just say everyone is awesome. You got to be able to give them the positive and the negative.
Our pick was very controversial, the guy that we picked. And it was our voting for this guy that sort of critical in him winning. So we were sort of the deciding votes.
Yeah, that was right. That was me and you versus John 5 in the vote. Something like that.
Yeah, well, kind of everybody else wanted the Steve Vai clone guy who was incredible, but my thinking was I really liked the underdog guy that was good, but he wasn't all put together. He was actually very awkward, and he actually tripped at one point and fell down and kept playing. You know what? That other guy will be fine. This guy's got to win, and everybody hated me for that. And I couldn't get a ride home after
really?
that. Everyone, when I left, like everybody'd gone, and people made a few comments at me on the way out the door, like, you know,
no shit.
Judge Judy, or I got some flack on the way out. But then after the thing, I went out the parking lot. There was no limo, there was nobody. It was completely deserted. And I was just sitting there, you know, at midnight. This was, I think, before cell phones. I'm not sure. There was some guy, I think, driving around that sort of recognized me. And he was like, "You're George Lynch." And I go, "Yeah." And oh, no, he drove me all the way home, in fact. Yeah, which was like an hour and a half.
You did have a new album that came out 2 weeks ago, right? With Jeff Pilson?
Yeah, I have a new album come out every 2 weeks, actually. So
that's okay.
Well,
kidding. That
yeah,
one.
I did.
Because they even talked about it. Can you believe, on the radio today?
It's called The End Machine, and it's our second record. And it's myself, Jeff Pilson, Robert Mason from Warren, Steve Brown, which is the drummer, and it's kind of Dokken-y, you know, an updated version of it, I guess.
Is this one of your guitars?
Yeah, 59 P90, completely worn out. I mean, look at the back of this neck.
Ooh. Wow.
So beautiful. I love that. So many stories in it, obviously. And it makes you play bluesy and slow hand, but it's cool. But it forces a certain style on you, you know. I mean, you can't really shred on it, but, you wouldn't want to, but every note matters, you know.
Yeah, I think a bigger neck forces you to do more bends and feel the melody more.
Yeah, like you said, you got to work at it a little bit more. When you're playing, I'm looking around at the wall. I'm going, oh shit, I should grab that. I should play my dobro. I should play my slide. I should play my 57 Les Paul. Obviously, I was just like grabbing stuff off the wall because we were talking about that. So. We're supposed to jump off the drum riser and do the splits and
that's right.
do a 360 and throw the guitar around our necks. You do that, right? That thing where you go like that?
No, I don't do that one because everyone does it.
Oh, that's like a 20-year-old thing. That's not cool anymore, is it?
I know, I don't do it. I like to do the flying knee. So I catch the guitar. I put the guitar in the air, then I do a flying knee into the body, and then it flies out and it comes back and I catch it.
Would you do that with my 57 Les Paul?
No,
I would probably.
because it puts so much pressure at the back of this neck every time you do that. Some guitars, the screws at the back completely started getting loose, so I glue all the neck. Otherwise, all those flying knees, it's like boom, all the pressure onto the neck.
So that's what the kids are doing now? That's the newest, coolest thing?
No, I'm the only one who does it. I'm just saying I don't want to copy people's moves. Guitars have changed quite a lot. So many different players have evolved so many new techniques of the thumping, with the the slapping, like Tosin Abasi, all this selective picking. Do you feel like you need to, or maybe actually dilute your signature style because no one sound like you?
I'm somewhat of a lazy student, so I play along to a record and sort of kind of pick up the vibe of what somebody's doing, but without actually learning what they're doing. When I was a kid, I was playing along to Hendrix. I don't know how he did what he did, but I sort of was trying to imply what he did and incorporate that into how I played. And I did that with everybody that came along, I mean, Eddie and Yngwie and Leslie West and Johnny Winter and 1,000 other guys or whatever, I can't really suggest somebody else do that because I don't know if that would work for anybody else. That might be really bad advice.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I don't have many licks. I kind of improvise and hopefully I find something on the spot. I just hammer it together on the spot. Hopefully, it works. We
should probably learn some licks, I think. With all the tools available to us and all the resources.
So I did learn this one. Yeah, the Gothic octave, is that whatever you called it back then?
I mean, that's branding. I don't know. I know it's not really an octave, and it's not like there's a whole lot of thought into changing it up. I'm just like flatten one note in the scale and repeat that. Maybe it'll do something cool. And that's basically my whole style in a nutshell.
All right, George, I'm not going to hold more of your time. I know you got to do your thing.
All right. Well, thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it, Herman.
Thanks again, John. Thank you. Right. Not John, George. Thanks.
Quick story, just to frickin' bail you out there. Who's the bass player in Kiss? Gene Simmons.
Yes.
Was talking to our band in the 70s about working with us and told me the first thing I needed to do was change my name to John Lynx because nobody can be a rock star named George. That's what he told me. I changed it for like 3 days and then I went back to my regular name.
Damn, you could have been much more successful. You could have been much bigger. You could have been, something else. Sorry.
Anyways, thanks again, Herman. I really appreciate it. Okay, I'll check back in with you soon. Thank you.
Thank you. See you, George. See ya. Yeah, bye.
Take care.